Okay. So we're gonna call the Friday the 13th Central Board of Architectural Review hearing for December. Are there any members of the public who wish to address the board regarding an item that is not on today's agenda? There's nobody in the room but us.
And then we do not have anybody online, so no public comment.
Member recusals. What?
Oh, LCAP.
Denise? Okay, cap. I think that's item number 6. No, it's 5. 5, yeah, because the AT&T is right after. Okay, agenda status report.
No changes to the agenda.
We did that all.
Yeah, we did all that.
Yeah. Okay, the minutes of November 8th, 2022 will be reviewed. I have no comments and would like to make a motion to approve them. Is there any objections, any further discussion?
Second.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. EBAR informational briefing. I was gonna talk about the new schedule, but we all have it, so.
I just want to thank the county for organizing the annual holiday lunch.
How did that go?
It was
It's
great,
very, very good this year, actually.
really good. And
We dispersed out.
yes,
So that was good.
we didn't hang together.
Good
Um,
job.
But it's nice getting to talk to the other
Other boards. and
boards
other
and, yeah,
collegiate.
so thanks for organizing.
Anything else? Okay, staff update, Nicole.
Good morning.
Christopher.
My name is Chris. I'm covering for Nicole today since she is in another meeting with all the supervisors talking about housing projects. So I'll be covering for Nicole. I have a couple things to talk about. First, I just wanted to mention that as a reminder that the County of Santa Barbara P&D is going to be closed between New Year's and Christmas this year. We do this pretty much every year, but just wanted to put it out there as a reminder. And then second, there was an item that went to the Board of Supervisors on Tuesday, the Ag Enterprise Ordinance amendments. And that is a long process that Long Range Planning has been working on, and some of you might be interested in, but that was approved by the Board of Supervisors and is going to be implemented here later this year. So if you have interests or questions, I recommend you look at the draft ordinance that's on the Board of Supervisors website.
Okay, so just to clarify, later this year, you mean in 2025 or you mean before the break?
I mean in 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure I was tracking. Okay,
Is he aware how we take minutes?
yeah, I'm hoping that you're comfortable with the whole process and Nicole just didn't pitch you in here willy-nilly.
I covered for her once earlier in the year, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. So I'm familiar, I'll take notes and then we can review it at the end and make any edits.
Perfect. That's how we can get the minutes approved with a motion, a second, and a vote.
And speed.
And speed, right. So thank you very much for doing that for us.
I have a general question.
Yeah.
And throw it into the informational briefings. Is over excavation for structures included in grading calculations?
Supposed to be, as far as
Okay.
I know.
Well, what's interesting, a couple projects, one I've been tracking that's adjacent to a project of mine, and one of ours, the soils engineer keeps coming back. So instead of 3 feet, we're now on one project down to 5 feet. Which, is I just, and so then my client called about this one and said, my God, what is happening over there? Because
My
it's a
understanding.
lot more dirt.
Yeah. My understanding from a project that I'm currently working on is 5 feet is typical.
Well, it started, the plans say 3,
Oh, let's see. Well,
and now they're at 5. And yeah, and then
No, it
some at
does.
5 are going,
yeah,
lower
well,
than that,
5 to 10.
which is like,
is what I,
you know,
it
10
depends on the
feet
soil.
for a building.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dirt, is all I'm saying.
Yes.
So sometimes it causes alarm.
And I don't know, maybe Chris can speak to how that's added, included or not in the grading.
Is
calculation.
the problem, I mean, I don't understand what your problem is. Is the problem that you're,
Well, you know, they start out with one little pile of dirt and it seems like something reasonable is going on next to them. And then they're more and more dirt and bigger.
eventually goes away when they take the dirt away, right?
Well, the over-X, the way it works with the over-X, my understanding anyway, is you over-X 5 feet, but then you come back in and you recompact it. It goes back in the hole.
Yeah. So
So,
it's just,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I was giving people the correct
yeah,
information.
Chris, is that correct?
Yeah, so the way that my understanding is that the way that we look at over excavation is that it's something we want to understand and know about in the project, but it's not typically captured in the cut and fill grading quantities, because like you said, it is recompacted most of the time. The typical grading quantities are for like flattening, you know, the site for the pads, or if there's grading for other, you know, hillside stuff. And it's typically not included in that, but as a planner, you generally want to know what that number is as well. And that's something that the grading department really looks at and manages as part of their grading permit.
Okay,
But-
I just wanted to make sure I was giving people the correct information. So that's
And
good.
understanding the process.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that means that what I was talking about was it's part of the process and it's talked about, but it's not actually part of the calculations for cut and fill.
Right.
Okay, good for me to know too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have a consent agenda item, 24/125 Hotchkiss accessory structures.
And then we have this is Brett Rose.
I'm here.
Okay, and Brett, you have your hand up?
Yes, I'm here. I had my hand raised for that previous comment on the grading.
Oh, yeah, what was that? Brett?
Well, so I just wanted to talk about on the grading side of the building division, when you exceed 3 feet of cut or fill, then those quantities do get added into the grading permit. So a lot of what's happening is these soils reports are coming out and they're just saying 3 feet so that theoretically a grading permit can be avoided. And then when they get in the field, it seems like they're determining, no, we need to excavate more when they come out to do their investigation.
Okay, yeah, it just seems like a relatively new phenomenon that I've been
It is.
observing.
Oh,
Okay,
wouldn't that normally be picked up when you have to do the boring before the project starts?
Yeah, theoretically, Alan. But if you know, if it says, you know, if someone's getting 40 inches, 42 inches, a lot of these reports are coming back at 36.
Oh, okay. So you're saying the people who reports it incorrectly then if that happens?
Well, I'm not going to go any further. I was just saying that 3 feet, 3 feet is the threshold for where that quantity gets counted into the grading permit. More than 3 feet.
Got it,
okay.
Sorry, Liz.
okay.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Okay, so, this one was to return with, your missing details, adding notes on where colors are to match existing structure, et cetera. You wanna walk us through the details and then the, where you've added the notes where colors are to match the existing structure?
Okay. Yeah. And I'm just gonna give you the pages of where the updates are located, so you can kind of zoom forward. So page 16. go to that first. So the exterior finish and material index was updated on this to indicate matching the main residence. Just some notes in there, and the same is, so pages 16 through 19 have those updates, just in the material index. And then if we zoom forward to page 22, more information was requested about what the garage doors look like. So we prepared a colored elevation of the garage to show the colors that are proposed. It's a dark brown color, and the model number for the panel style is indicated on the elevation. We also updated the exterior finish and material index on this page as well, to clarify which materials of the structure match the main house. Sorry, did you have a question, or should I keep going?
Actually, if she goes to the next page, it's the same, exterior. Next page.
The next page, you mean 23 or?
This one, yeah,
Yeah.
you'll see that you have the same, thing, and you've missed your match existing, but you can add that, that was the next one.
Oh, was the next one?
That one.
Oh, okay.
Or, it's this one, yeah.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
I just didn't swap that sheet out. Okay. I think
did.
I only updated, I only resaved the sheets that were changing. Okay, sure.
Yeah,
I'll,
so just
I'll add
go
that.
through, that was the one I caught.
Okay, uh-huh,
But, no, that's fine, that's something the planner can check, not a problem.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
5.1.
okay, great. And then the next page, page 24, is the door schedule showing those panel types for the garage doors. Then, let's see. I broke it into 2 PDFs, so I go 2 more pages, and that's where the details for the garage door are. So details 6, 7, and 8 are the garage door details that you wanted for the final review. And that's it for the changes.
Okay. Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for final approval.
Second.
Okay, so. Yeah, final, okay. So, yeah, as, with the note that they
Right.
need to confer with the planner and make sure that they've captured all of those. That, I think that was A 5.1. I don't know if it occurs anywhere else. She knows her set better than I do. Okay, yeah, I would second.
Okay, first, second, and then all in favor?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aye. Moving us along.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, central article, board of architecture agenda, main agenda, item number 2, 24 bar 133. I think it's Reichel new, single family dwelling,
That's correct. Reichel. Yes.
Reichel,
Rankle. Like Ruth.
Mhm.
okay. Yeah. The comments from last time were consider refinement of the truss design for the covered patio. Provide lighting details for structures and landscape if proposed, ensure that lighting is dark sky compliant. Given the overall fairly dark palette, pleased to see lighter materials incorporated under eaves and in other places on the structure.
So I can jump directly ahead. So to address the first one, that the material palette is remaining the same. No changes have been made. So thank you for giving us that comment. We provided additional details for civil and for landscape as part of the package. So if you can go to page 10.
Yeah, just scroll down.
Yeah, C1, C2.
Listings.
Yeah, so
right.
those are, we are missing, I think this may be the wrong set. We're missing the civil and landscaping on this set.
There's 2 of them.
Oh,
Yeah. Alright.
So these are the full set of civil plans. The grading numbers remain pretty much similar. The layout has not changed since the last meeting. And so it's a driveway up to a detached garage and main house, and the layouts all pretty much remain the same. Think is Lydia from Civil here to talk about this? I don't see her. Oh, Lydia, if you want to jump in and talk about the civil.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yep,
So for the civil, our concept was just to try and minimize those grading quantities as much as we could while also reducing the driveway slope to be less than 20%, so concrete isn't required. We've included the fire department hammerhead, and no turnouts are required on the way up the driveway. Is there any other comments that need to be addressed?
what's going on the northern edge of the page there? Is that like a V ditch or what's going on there?
Yeah, there's a drainage swale that runs along the northern edge to intercept the water that's flowing away and to intercept the to drain that. There's a kind of a grassed, I'm not sure if it's a lawn or but sort of a vegetated area that's going to drain to that swale and take it all the way around. But it should be minimal.
So does that mean it's concrete or it's just
No,
a
it's grass.
grass ditch? Okay,
It's sloped at 1%, so it should have a nice ability to filter and treat the stormwater.
got it. Okay, I'm gonna go to landscape.
And then Jessica can talk about the landscaping.
Yeah, so per the board's request, we provided a lighting plan. Like Cash said, the hardscape has not changed and the planting palettes have not changed since our last review. As we have a minimal lighting where we're providing path lights for the main path of travel up to the front door. And then out of the larger trees, we have a couple hanging pendant lights to give us kind of a moonlit effect and light the edges of the drive court without having marching soldiers of path lights. Other than that, it's very simple, just providing puddles of light that are downward facing to get us kind of through the main entertaining and paths of travel. But yeah, hardscape stayed the same with the addition of the lighting. And you can see the referenced photos showing shielded downlights. If you want to, and then we also provided some additional detailing for the gravel pave and the permeable gravel pave in the driveway and just our steel header and stuff like that. Irrigation, it's primarily drip irrigation with MP rotators through the lawn areas. I don't know, the fills disappeared on that for a second, but, and then we definitely stay under the maximum applied water use. But fairly simple. And then planting remains the same with the addition that we added in some planting details for installation purposes.
And then jumping onto the architectural set, nothing much has changed on the floor layouts. If we can go to the exterior elevations, a 4.01. We took into, if you back up just to a 3.7, 3.30. So we also provided architectural lighting for the exterior. So it's a mix of wall-mounted sconces at the exterior, step lights that are covered and pointing downward, and then down lights at our exposed patios so that we can have some light in those areas. So you can see it here. So we have down lights facing downwards. We kept to the color temperature of 2700 Kelvin, and then the actual specifications are on A3.81 and A3.82. And then we took into account the board's a request for exploring the detailing at the trusses. The two options, so as you can see here on view number 2, that is the similar detail that we used throughout wherever the covered patios were. We explored two options. One was providing a top chord at the truss and then also adding a ridge beam at that to give that traditional look. For the ridge beam, if the owner looked at it and didn't like how it made the roof feel heavier, and then adding in the top chord. So the look that we were going for was a New Zealand modern farmhouse. And so with that look, this floating roof is part of the attractive quality of the design. And so adding, just similar to how a flush floor is sometimes a great looking detail coming from the inside to the exterior, what we got when we added in a top chord here at the roof was that it separated the outdoor space from the sky. So the owner, every time we went to a more traditional truss design, they preferred what we had originally detailed. And then the details for that are on a 7.01, 7.02, 7.03.
Okay, so can we back up to the 4.01? So what you're telling us is the metal beam and post per structural, that is not being proposed?
That is being proposed. So what we have there is what we would like to show. So it wasn't really clear what else we wanted to, so we just explored additional versions of adding a top chord that is exposed and adding a ridge beam that is exposed. And both of those options, the owner preferred not to do those
So this is.
as a design choice. So this
Yeah,
is the proposed design.
Okay, I just want to be clear that what we're looking at is what you want to do.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And
you
then,
have light fixtures on the elevations, I see them called out.
correct. And then the lighting plans have the specifications, the call outs for which specifications attached to the lighting specification sheet.
I think that's it. I'll make a motion for final approval.
Second. I think they're here for preliminary and final, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
for preliminary and final.
And there was a second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, our next thing is a 10:15 site visit, so we can suspend our meeting.
Okay. Oh, we're not gonna get there till, we don't have to get there till 10:15. How long does it take to get?
Hi, good morning, Maya. Did you have a question?
Sorry, unmute. Okay, thank you for your patience. I'm just not hearing the meeting. Has it started? It's just, I'm just seeing one thing on the screen and I haven't heard anything. I want to make sure that I'm hearing the meeting.
Yeah, so the members, let me turn on the camera.
Oh, hi.
Hi. So the members of the CBAR are on a site visit.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's what that's showing right here. It's site visit.
Okay.
So they will be back at 11:15.
Oh, okay, great. And then what time does the El Capitan Canyon thing come on?
So once they come back, we'll review the more new, so about maybe 11:30.
Okay, 11:30 is when El Cap may be on. I don't know if you can even see me because I don't have any way of seeing if my camera is on. Is my
Yeah,
camera?
no worries.
Is the camera on?
Not seeing you.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Okay.
That's fine. So you'll come back and reassess what your schedule is going to be for today. And LCAP could go on at 11 or it could go in the afternoon after lunch.
I would think it would just come right after that one. So I would just recommend being on at 11:15.
11:15. Okay, and then what are the kinds of questions that, like, I know that I've been to a few CBAR hearings before, and I know that it's the architectural design and the scope of the buildings and whatnot, but what kinds of comments, the board just makes a decision on if it's going to look right for the Gaviota Coast or look right for our community, right? And I just want to make sure that my questions and comments relate to their stature and status within our government system.
Yeah, and I know that Bethany, the chair, will also talk about their preview of the scope of so it's just aesthetics. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, it's aesthetics. And so if we don't, basically it's on a Chumash burial ground and an ancient Chumash sacred place of dance. And I know that that's not relevant to the developer. And I know that not often everyone in the county cares about that. Some people do, some people don't, but it's a fact. There's a lot of archaeological significance to this.
Yeah, and that's something you could definitely talk during public comment.
Okay.
But we will talk to you then, okay?
I just wanted to make sure that I'm allowed to ask those kinds. I just want to be respectful of what the scope of what I'm allowed to say. Okay, thank you so much.
Ms. Jamal, this is Chris. I'm a planner for the CBAR.
Hi, Chris.
Hi. So during public comment, you're welcome to say whatever you like. It's your time to talk about the project. But as far as asking questions, the board is receiving comments and then they'll make their determination. They're not necessarily going to be able to respond to questions from you. And, they like we were saying, they are a design review board, so they're focused on the design and aesthetics of the project. And so your questions about the cultural resources that might be on site would probably be better directed to the planner for the project.
Okay, and that would be at the county planning meeting, which comes after this one, correct?
I would reach out to Kevin De Los Santos. He would know what the next step is for this project.
Is this Chris Schumacher from?
Yeah, my name's Chris Schumacher.
Hi, yeah, we've been emailing back and forth. Yeah, it's just in the process. It would just be nice to know how we can interact and how we can make a difference. And it's just, there's a lot of hiccups if you're okay, well, we're at this meeting. What is this meeting about? What can we actually do? But if, I just don't think it's a good fit for the Gaviota Coast. We don't need yurts and RVs and all of the different reasons, but.
Maya, and that's something we could discuss during public comment, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and mute you already.
Okay, yeah, Chris, if we could set up a meeting, that'd be great.
So I think you should talk to the planner, Kevin De Los Santos. He's the one that can talk to you about that project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. We're back on.
And we're back on, and it's 11:14. All right, so it'll take us a minute to get everything on call. So, we made the site visit, 323 bar 160 more new single-family dwelling. And we have returned from that. So we're gonna go ahead and call the same item number 4, 23 bar 160 more single-family dwelling. And I think Brett and Angie, you're online there.
Yes, hi, good morning all. Thank you again for conducting the site visit with us for the Moore project. We appreciate your time and attention on that. We do have Rory Fubister with Fubister Architects here in attendance as well, and he will be making the presentation on behalf of the owner.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and read the comments. And then when we get to the presentation that Rory's gonna be doing, I'll have something to say right before we start our comments, because I think as we all discovered, there's the site visit was eye-opening. So, all right, comment number 1 was nice interpretation of the post and beam style. Appreciate the pathways around the ADU. Consider that there's a tight turn into the small garage that may be inconvenient for the owner. The proposed stonework is overly light. Use darker earth tones for the stone. Story poles will be required. The C-bar chair and a second C-bar member will visit the site to determine the extent of story poles required and will coordinate with the assigned planner on this effort. Provide more details on level calculations at the next meeting. All right. Mr. Frobisher, if you want to go ahead and start us off.
Yeah, fantastic. And thank you all for taking the time to go out there. So my name is Rory. I'm the architect, as mentioned. So we're really excited to get this one back in front of you guys. I think a couple of the minor tweaks that we were looking at from the previous submittal, as we worked through, a lot of it was just kind of the aesthetic. So some of the materiality has kind of changed, and that's kind of prevalent on both the renders that I think you actually were just on. It's also going to be showing up on sheet A801. And what we've done is we switched out that kind of mortar wash, very lighter stone, and we're switching that to kind of like a Santa Barbara sandstone or equivalent. So it's got, ideally even with like a dry stack finish, so it's got a little bit more of an earthier tone. In addition, some of the stucco that we had previously was a little too stark, a little too white, a little too, I don't want to say the word modern, but just not in keeping with the kind of taupey nature of the valley. So we've switched out that as well. So that one's now going to be it's like a clay based, it's got integral grain. Yeah, if you go all the way down, I apologize, the file's a little unwieldy. And that was one of the big pieces. Another comment was the driveway. So we actually went back. It's funny, you kind of go around in cycles, and we went back to one of the older original designs, which had a true auto court drive round, so that the maneuverability in the for the Moores and guests and whoever's coming is just a lot easier to kind of circulate and navigate with the cars. Okay, couple other little minor tweaks in this submittal. I'm actually going back to one of the original comments, which was back in December of 2023. So one of the original comments, which doesn't show up on these C-bar comments, was we actually had a 2-story element of program. And that 2-story program was over the detached garage at the front. Yeah, if you hold it there on sheet A, yeah, perfect. So that one we've actually removed. It's not on the latest comments, but we figured we'd go all the way back to. So we've actually removed that portion of program. So there is no 2-story. There is still a little roof deck up there, so he can kind of catch the sun setting, because the sun is going to be setting kind of right project south of at the bottom of the sheet. So there'll still be a little bit of program up there, but there's no habitable square footage. And that actually took a good chunk of square footage off the project as well. Okay. So love to see the staking. And obviously, as you mentioned, a little bit illuminating. When we originally started the project, they did a tree study, and an oak tree snuck in. There was like a grove of other trees there. So now that we kind of did the thinning, we did not touch the oak tree. And I think that was one of those moments where we went, oh, okay, a little surprised in a good way. Love to see that tree. So we do also appreciate, we're still in concept. Ideally, we want to move towards prelim, but that is one of the things that we do need to do is just recite that a little bit better to make sure that we're trying to preserve that existing oak tree, which is right. I mean, I'm sure you saw it and where the stakes and the relation is.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I felt like seeing the stakes. Now, you've obviously seen them firsthand, but from the valley looking up, I do think that we're still very in keeping. Like, I don't think it's particularly, hopefully you feel the same way. And really just here to answer any and all questions. I think we've also got, I want to say, the landscape architect somewhere in here as well, just in case there's some of the landscape questions. And truthfully, we've just been trying to work through the back end of things with regards to, fuel pump systems, fire mitigation, all of the kind of nuts and bolts to really get past concept and into prelim.
Okay. Did you want to talk about any of the landscape?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know if is Kevin in? Do you see him, G? If not, I can happily.
He does have the invite. You mean,
Oh, it's too busy for us. Golly. All right, if you wouldn't mind turning to sheet P100, it'll be a couple sheets down, I believe. Or is it up?
Up from you.
Up, sorry. Kendall's the guy who knows. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of, again, it's been a minute, so I'll happily kind of revisit the big picture and kind of what we've got cooking on the different areas. Perfect. That's the sheet. Just let it come in. Oh, no, we went one too far. Oh.
See, there we go.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's the one. Don't touch. That's the perfect one. Thank you. All right, it's coming piece by piece.
Takes a while.
Yeah, there it is. All right. So starting from the left-hand side, we've got, if you can remember, we did some fire access roads just to make sure that we're properly serving the new structures from the ADU to the main house. And then we also have the garage, the pump house, and a few other straggler buildings, if you will. So starting from the landscape, what we really wanted to try and preserve is right now the existing property has kind of a beautiful, organic, landscaped area. And truthfully, we didn't really want to lose that. We really wanted to try and keep as much and preserve as much of that as possible. The only two kind of components that we wanted to do is some edging details and kind of clean up the pathways. But the bulk of where the bocce court and the pergola, that area is all kind of existing. We are adding, adjacent to the kind of fire road and the potential overflow parking, we are actually going to be accentuating an agave lawn, which is a beautiful lawn surrounded by the fully mature agave that are kind of on site at the moment. As we kind of move towards in between the two structures of the ADU and the main house, you can see the two big oak trees. And those are the ones which are like, they're amazing. And we're not touching those and we're keeping those in place. We're also keeping the driveway kind of going underneath them. So it's kind of a beautiful moment. And then we kind of move into the kind of new stuff. So new stuff, we've got the driveway kind of branches off and that takes us down towards our auto court, which is, like I mentioned, it's now a full wraparound auto court with a specimen tree in the center. Refreshing. We wanted to try and mitigate for water. Obviously, we're building a big new house. We want to make sure that we're not going to create any potential issues with water and drainage and all of those components. And to celebrate that and actually make it feel a bit more special, what we've done is starting kind of from the driveway edge, if you can see where it breaks and does the T. I'm not sure if I can annotate this for you, but maybe we can hover over it. Let me see if I can actually, oh, I think I can do it. There we go. So kind of starting from here, we're collecting all of the water and that actually goes underneath the building with a little bridge element, wraps around, goes under the other bridge, and then kind of culminates so that we have a place to catch the water and not create any water dam situations. And if we kind of go, not right now, but when we go back to the renders, you can kind of see how that's expressed. And like I said, we're trying to celebrate that instead of just, the classic, oh, a whole bunch of drains and everything's underground. The other components for the landscape plan, everything kind of in the trees along the streetscape, those are all staying. So where you see an existing tree is the kind of empty colored ones. So all of these ones, those are all the existings. So we really did try and maintain because they're in good health, a lot of them. The only areas where we're really going to be adding is when you go on site, you can kind of see the stark contrast between, you know, the very lush garden on the left, and then it's kind of like the top of the bluff and there's nothing there. So what we're trying to do is add in these green, these are all the new trees. And then ultimately adjacent to the right-hand side to provide some privacy both towards the neighbor and for ourselves. We were presenting kind of an olive tree alley. So nicely spaced, kind of DG, just kind of very calm, very simple, but just for privacy and also just for that one of the most special moments for the primary suite. As we move all the way to the right-hand side of the drawing, this is where we've added the barn, an agricultural barn, unconditioned barn. It's a true working barn. And then we did add kind of a series of pastures so that if whatever animals have space to utilize that, and that's kind of to the side. And then lastly, down at the pump house area, and that's kind of getting back towards the street, working with the fire suppression and water management. That's something which I think we're going to need for a site of this nature, and just to make sure that it's, you know, fully compliant. And then adjacent to that is like a vegetable garden, just so that they can actually try and grow as much on site as possible. Lastly, on the Project North, one of the bigger components is the vineyard. So you can pick a better site for it, in my opinion. It's a stunning piece of property. So that will have the vineyards, which kind of go all the way up to the edge of the pool, and the ADU over on the left-hand side. That kind of concludes the landscape portion. I wish Kevin was here just because he's much more poetic with the descriptions, but we can certainly kind of go through some of the other moments, or I can answer any questions about the trees, or anything of that nature.
Okay. Could you indicate where that oak is?
Yeah, so originally when we had the survey done, the oak tree is right here.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Which is suboptimal. So, I mean, for us, it's one of those ones where we're really happy that we did it. There's no surprises, and we get the surprise out now. So I think straight out the gate, we said, okay, this would be actually something we can celebrate and make us feel special. And when we were thinking about it, we said, hey, well, this is a no-brainer. We're just going to take the whole structure, shift it back ever so slightly, and actually make that tree, you know, a feature. And I think we've already, I mean, we had the CBAR hearing scheduled, so we wanted to stay on course just because, but we're already kind of planning for that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, anybody have any questions for you, public comment?
Oh, I have a question. What is the, so just so I understand where your property line is to the right, you've got the pump house, the vegetable garden, and the barn, and then there's your property line. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be all the way up there. So we've kind of maintained some pretty healthy setbacks. And like I said, the pump house and the barn are not, you know, large structures. They're just enough to kind of serve the need, if you will.
Sure. And then what is the gradient of the vineyard area?
So that has a pretty good slope on it. I would say it's pretty good. So yeah.
Do you know what it is?
So, you know, it's going to get you some exercise if you're going up and down that one. Truthfully, it varies, but you know, the tighter area kind of right in here, that is a little bit tighter, and then it obviously eases out a tiny bit and then gets tighter again. So on average, I'd say it's 45 degree, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. So the road or the path that's at the top of the drawing and then off to the right between like the existing grassland and the vineyard, None, do those roads exist at all?
You're talking about this component right here, correct? As it kind of comes around.
Comes around and then goes back towards the house?
Yeah, so where I kind of just in red, that's an existing kind of dirt path. It's not a formalized road in any capacity. And oh, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
Okay, and then this portion here, this isn't actually a path. This is just to delineate where the fencing would kind of be. So there isn't like a formalized, hardscape path along there.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Any other questions? Public comment?
You're in the audience and wish to speak on this item, please. No. And then if you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand. We do not have any public, or
We do.
oh yeah. Maya? I think she was
Maya Jamal?
Jamal, I think she was here to talk about the helicopter. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
We're doing fine. Is this the item you wish to speak on?
Is this the El Capitan project?
No, ma'am, that's next.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so before we get into our deliberations, I think one of the big things that I saw there is that the end of the building, and that I guess it would be the south end of the building, and all along that front, probably about 2/3 of the building, yeah, from there to about halfway through the pool is very visible, the whole building all the way up with nothing but sky behind it. And it's not one of our findings. It's the planner's finding, but it does say shall not skyline. And so I was very interested in hearing you, Rory, talk about pushing that building back. Because I think especially the further you get closer to that alley, the more problems you have, because there's nothing beyond it. And we're looking at it's kind of a screwy view. It kind of goes from here. I mean, it's kind of it's an oblique angle view through the house and everything when you're seeing it from Ballard Canyon. So there's literally nothing back there to kind of stop the view. So it's very difficult for us. It's difficult for me. I don't know about anybody else. It's difficult for me to make comments about this, knowing that there could be a big impact and that in fact you're proposing to push it back. So I think my comments are going to be tempered by that. And then we'll see what happens as far as the planner and what your feedback from the planner is. So it's going to be an interesting process to see where we go to from here. So with that, does anybody want to start?
I'll start.
Thank you, Puck.
Yep. Thank you for doing this story poll exercise, because it was extremely valuable. And I do appreciate, after being at the site and seeing the existing residents and the dark colors of the existing buildings, how important darker colors are in terms of being recessive in view sheds. And that portion of Ballard Canyon Road, or Ballard Canyon Road in general, is a heavily used destination for bicyclists, tourists of all sorts. And the view from the top of Ballard Canyon Road as you climb from Los Olivos, and then get the view of the canyon, is really one of the most iconic views, one of them in the valley, on this side of the valley. So when we crested the top of the hill, in that important public view area, it was very telling. The story poles really stood out. It looked like they were perched right at the top of slope. And when you look at the overall development of walking trails or Walking M, there definitely are much older homes that were close to the edge, but like the existing structure on the site now, it has a lot of vegetation around it. It's dark. And so I think that also was in a response to not wanting to be sort of in view of the general public. When we were at the top of the hill, we could see Brett Jones and Angie standing right there. So I'm not really sure it's the most relaxing thing to be waving at several hundred bicyclists every weekend, looking at you from the top of the other hill. So looking at the site plan, it does seem to me, and we were looking at the two major oak trees, that you could really slide the house back. I mean, it would require some site planning changes, but given what we saw with the story poles, it's simply too much of an impact on that view shed, in my opinion. Also, I'm just for the owner, I'm concerned about having wonderful thoughts of a vineyard that is going to be very, very difficult and very difficult to manage, because there's no way you're going to get equipment that can make a turn between rows at an end row and hit a 45% slope. I mean, it would have to be a very specialized piece of equipment. And I don't know if they really want to get into a crawler to just pick their little vineyard. So I think overall, and also the LA seems, the idea of this LA, I like the idea, but in reality, when you're out there, the topo doesn't fit. It feels much closer to the edge, and sort of feels unresolved, I would think, when you just sort of hit the end of the LA. And I think those are my major comments.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, just I'm agreeing with Huck, and just when we were out walking the site next to the story poles, it does feel like the building is teetering on the edge. It just feels like not really taking the best advantage of the potential for space around the back of the building, maybe to complement the view. So I thought as well that if it could be studied with the building further back, could have some benefit, not just from the view, but also giving the owners some extra space.
Okay, Chris?
Yes, I agree with what everyone has said so far, and it does strike me that if the vines come up that close to a swimming pool, that would not be optimal in terms of dust, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Otherwise, I would strongly prefer if the house moved back quite a bit. And I'll leave that number open.
Yeah.
Until we figure out what comes back.
I don't think you guys have covered it all.
Okay. And I think there's a lot of opportunity on this site, but I also think that this is a challenging piece of real estate to work with, and to massage. I'm gonna leave it to you to see how you move the building and you reshape and you move things around and you accommodate your programming. And while I wouldn't want to see that established garden go, there's very much more of an opportunity in that direction. The more you move things that way, the more you get out of that open area where there's nothing in that field, where you've got your pastures situated. Because of that oblique angle, that's kind of what's really kind of pushing it. So it's not just pushing it back. For me, it seems like it's not just pushing it back from the edge, it's kind of pushing it to the side a little too. But it's gonna be really interesting to see where you go from here and what comes out. And thank you so much. Those were excellent storyboards.
Well,
And I say that not just because, they were illuminating. I say that because they were well laid out, they were well constructed. Angie and Brett had a great little plot plan for us on site. We could understand exactly what was happening and translate very quickly what was proposed with what was storyboard. And it really, really was very helpful. So thank you very much for doing that.
So if I may, I don't know the forum, am I allowed to kind of ask some follow-up questions?
Typically at this point, no, but if you can keep it to about 2 minutes, yes.
All right, I'll be under 2 minutes. No, I mean, truthfully, we've been in concept now for over a year, and obviously I understand that the story polls have kind of changed some of the feedback, but we really would love to try and move towards we want to give the Moors a beautiful home. So, and I think, we would love to try and get some concise information as much as possible. So when we're talking about pushing it further up the hill, preserving that oak tree, I think those are all manageable things, and I certainly want to do those. Is there a tangible number? Because obviously I value your time and our time, and we want to try and make it as meaningful as possible. So
I think the nexus you're looking for, no, we cannot give you, I don't think I can give you a discrete number.
Okay.
What I can say is what I would like to see you do is pull it back like you were talking about, probably further than you want to go, and sliding it a little to what is essentially the north. Puck, you good?
I just wanted to say something. Wendy.
Go for
it.
I just wanted to say, I think it's really, it's not our job to give you a specific number, but I would really encourage you to resolve how the skyline policy
That's where I was headed.
impacts the project in general. And then I think now that the story polls have been done, it's really, I won't say easy, but it's very feasible for you to do some studies on site where you can literally be on the land, be on the top of Ballard Canyon Road, and figure out, what you believe is the best solution given our concerns.
Yeah, and what I was starting to say is that, you've got us saying, pull it back, move to the north. But within that nexus is also what the planning department is going to need as far as that. And so you've got two people talking in either ear right now, or you will have the planner and us, and that's going to be in tension. And so I think our comments are kind of directing you to where we're expecting planning to be pushing you anyway.
Understood.
So I think that's what we're doing. As far as how long you're in conceptual, I mean, you came to us. It looks like it was you came to us in December of last year, and then you didn't come back until September. So.
No, I know. Trust me, I know. I'm trying to get the train out the station now. So
I got you, but I mean, as far as we're looking at it, if you want to talk numbers, we're looking at 2 conceptual reviews. And this would be a third. So I think you're right in there where you need to be. And yeah, I think it'll start really after this site visit, echoing what Puck said. I think this is really gonna allow you to move forward because you've taken out a lot of the things that, were limiting understanding of how these buildings were gonna sit on the ground and having these story poles and everything. I think you guys are gonna light a fire under you. So, we look forward to seeing you back as soon as you've gotten feedback from planning and moving forward, so.
Understood. Angie, anything on your end? I think I'm.
No, we don't have anything to add. Thank you very much, everyone,
Brilliant.
for your review and your comments.
Thank you.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
All right, have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Item number 5, 23 bar number 1, El Capitan Canyon Campground areas F1 and F2. These two lovely ladies are gonna step out. What we're gonna do is, Kevin, are you online?
Hi, Bethany. Yeah, I'm online.
Perfect. So if you could kind of just bring us up to date about what's going on the planning end, and then we'll come to the applicant, have them do their presentation. We'll ask any questions if we need to, you know, it's a normal sort of thing. We'll do public comment, and then we'll come back to the board. Okay? Take it away, Kevin.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so this project, the bar application, was granted preliminary approval by your board back in September of 2023. It was that preliminary approval was subsequently appealed by the GCC, and then at a later date, September of this year, the applicant and appellant came to a private mutual agreement, and the appellant withdrew their appeal, so that preliminary approval was retroactively granted, and so now they're returning for final approval. The comments from your preliminary approval back in September asked that the applicant return with additional landscaping and a physical color board. And so the applicant has provided both those items, and now they're returning for final review.
Wonderful. Okay. And this was, we originally asked for this item to return final on consent. And the reason you're here full board is because of the way the agenda had already been structured. When this item was added, there wasn't time available. So you're not on consent, you're here full board, but we understand that we wanted it to return final on consent. So go ahead and run us through, looks like you agreed to provide a minimum of 4-foot tall screening for units 21 through 26 and the pools to improve screening from Highway 101.
That's correct. So it has been 15 months, and so I'm happy to give anyone a refresher on anything because it's been a minute. We did, as Kevin mentioned, we engaged in a successful process with GCC and others, including county planning staff, to come to an agreement and also make some improvements here that might be also noteworthy for this group to see, because they not only address your landscape comments and the visibility of the project. We've actually moved some cabins back to take advantage of that. I'm gonna let Arcadia show that in their plans, because they're gonna cover the consent item of the landscape screening that you highlighted, and also what GCC has highlighted. So I'll let Sasha and Arcadia handle that one. With regards to the other request, which is the physical materials board, I do have that here.
Perfect.
So if you guys want to pass that around, these, like everything in this set that you're seeing, everything is validated. There's been no changes to anything since the last set that you saw and approved. And these materials have been in the set since conceptual and approved along the way as well.
Good.
So I think maybe we should start with the landscape item and the cabins. So I'm going to turn it over to Sasha really quick, because that's kind of our main item here. So Sasha, if you want to come up and then direct to the sheet that you'd like to start from.
Yeah, I think if you go to LP one.
Okay, this set was broken into 6 pieces.
Oh, okay.
So if you can help her with.
That is a good question. I would try maybe 4.
4?
And start there.
4 looks like LC1.
Okay, well, if we're open on these sections, we could also look at those. Great, this is the landscape plan. Maybe try 5 of 6.
And then go forward. A little more. Oh, okay, so 6 of 6.
6 of 6 is.
And then forward. That's perfect.
Okay.
And then we can zoom in on the front row of cabins.
On the right?
21 to 26. Yeah, the bottom right. So in this first row, as Mike was mentioning, we pushed them back around 10 feet. They're on sort of a flat portion, so pushing them back kind of helps with the lip of the grading. So when you're down at the highway, you really could barely see them, or only like the top bit. So that, in addition to the, I think I might just go through the 3 to 4 foot shrubs that we mixed in directly in front on the more flat area, that mixed with some grasses really helped to screen. In addition, if you pan down a little bit, we have this whole native garden.
Right.
And also in works with collaborating with GCC, we started planting the larger oaks and shrubs. So we drove back and forth on Highway 1 and saw how that would begin to layer and screen with the help of the smaller media that will be in.
So you push back 21, 22, 23, 24, 26.
25 is there, so you're.
Your figure, right? And then the pools, what happened with the pools?
So what we did set up with GCC is a kind of a voluntary setback. So now some of these cabins are at minimum 30 on the west and at maximum 50 feet. So they're all pushed back as far as they could go inside of the approved campsites.
Right.
The pools, if this is a good sheet to look at to see what has, since we last saw you, what has happened is we've done fine grading, which is natural to any project. So what you're seeing are the changes that would not have any visual impact are the length of paths for ADA access and things like this have come into full focus. So the pools haven't changed or moved, but what you will see if you were to look 15 months ago is to make sure that ramp lengths to avoid handrails are in there and things like that. So these pools have not moved at all to accommodate any of the other site features that have been fine-tuned or graded.
Okay. And then, I think we said, we were talking about a 4-foot wall, tall screening, so can you kind of just talk about that?
Yeah,
We
so
can
those
zoom in a little bit more.
would be some of the shrubs I was pointing out when I was just up there.
Yep.
So that'd be Encilia californica, Laemus condensatus, Salvia, Leucophylla. And then we've also mixed in some taller shrubs like Prunus, Ilicifolia, Toyon, and lemonade berry.
Okay.
And that's underplanted with native grasses, which we can let grow taller. So when you're looking from the highway, it's not all shrubs. We still want it to blend naturally
Sure.
into the landscape, but we'll allow that to grow to the appropriate height.
Okay.
And I think that addresses that comment. So I'll try
And
to-
there's your color board, okay? Have there been anything as far as details or anything that have been added since preliminary? Because this is final, so we have to put some details.
There is one detail I'd like to point you to.
Okay.
That is actually the critical one, which sets the height of the building because they're all broken up. Maybe we try 3 of 6.
This looks like civil. Let's try 2 of 6.
Try 2 of 6, you know. There we go.
It's gonna give us some elevations.
Yes, one of the things was, if we go through here, here we go. This upper left detail is the one that we wanted to show that was the most important because the door heights and window heights and the trellis all set the height, the roof height. And so this is a critical sort of detail that we wanted to figure out that telegraphs through all of the buildings. There's no eave overhangs, is what you might not recall, it's just been over here, but so this has a hidden gutter. So this detail we have, and which is the critical one, and I do have a number of other details door and window details, if you'd like to see those.
Yep, we should probably,
Okay, well, this is where we get a little hung up, because they're not in this set. When this went in right in Thanksgiving, the two sheets didn't make it in, and
And we're not seeing it.
what's
No, we're
that?
not
Then we're not seeing it.
So you're not seeing it. I have them physically here, but I know that doesn't do the trick. for
no,
public record.
sadly it doesn't.
Yeah.
We saw them before.
Not the actual window details themselves, like the details of the aluminum windows and the door headers and things.
And those are needed for final.
Those are, yeah. So we have them done, they're just not in the set. So that's a trick. That's a problem. So.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. And the easiest way to solve it is to say, come back with those details and the whole set, but the whole set with those details so that we can go, page through the set and then just give you the actual final, and we do that on consent.
Can you do that on, okay, if you can do that on
Yeah.
consent, like I said, I haven't
And it-
rolled up.
and it
but
would be
I can
ready
Put them in
for-
tomorrow.
It would be, yeah, and it would be for January's meeting.
We'd love to do that.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll return January on consent with all these details.
Yeah.
and-
That'll be fast.
That'll be
And,
fine.
and then, our note taker today, Chris, the pertinent note here is that, they're returning with this set plus the detail sheets that, are not present, were not submitted, to be in the set for when, and that's specifically the window and door details, and that they are to return final on consent in January. So, yeah, that would do it.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, that makes it easy for us here today. Yeah, so we won't be taking any action, but we do need to take public comment. So, we don't have any other questions?
No.
All right, let's go to public comment.
Okay, if you're online and wish to speak on an item for this item, please raise your hand. Go ahead, Maya Jamal.
Hi there. Thank you so much for joining today on this meeting. I just wanted to speak to that, this is a Chumash burial ground. And I've spoken with archaeologists from the Chumash Nation, the historic preservation officers and such from the past, who have, their uncles have worked on the pipeline that went through here. And now they're working on, they worked on the pipeline after that. So they're very familiar where the sensitive cultural sites are. I've seen and toured from outside the boundaries where this is. So I just want to say that in speaking to also non-federally recognized Chumash people, that there's a lot of concern about the depth of the pools, these RV hookups and the 22 RV hookups, just the general look of the yurts. We're really questioning also as a community why folks can put yurts and RVs up on one of the most pristine, undeveloped Southern California coastline, the last 20 miles of undeveloped Southern California coastline left, how folks can put yurts and RVs up. I guess that's reserved for maybe folks that have a lot of money, but if you're in Santa Barbara, you want affordable housing, you can't put an RV or a yurt in your backyard. And so, I think really the breadth of what the community is feeling that I'm hearing is that, we appreciate the time that GCC has sat down with El Capitan, and we appreciate the time that El Capitan has sat down with the GCC, but we have to say that we just don't like the look of this project. It's outside of the Gaviota Coastal Plan that was in 2018. It's really unclear to the public why or how the developer even got the permit that expired in 2013. There's a lot of public outrage, and we respect our environmental nation, the tribal nations and the environmental community, and also the diplomatic government community. And thank you for working with us. And it's not that we don't want the developer to have a thriving business, but that's another point. It's like the return on the investment of this project. I don't think that this is the only project they have in the future. I think it's piecemealed because we know that they bought the property next door. And so we're just saying, like, is this really, it's up to you as our decision makers that were appointed by the people that we put into office, it's up to you to protect this coastline, this very sensitive habitat. I mean, this is an ancient Chumash place of dance. This is an ancient, and I know that isn't important to a lot of people, but it really needs to be said. So I appreciate you, listening. We just basically, this is not a good look for the Gaviota Coast. Yurts, RVs, like put your development way out of the way, so we don't have to see it as a community, and appreciate the oak trees and whatnot. We're wondering how long that'll take for it to hide this. And we appreciate like that there's not going to be a big mansion there right now. In the future, that's a question though, in generations to come, are these RVs, are these yurts going to make way for mansions? And that makes me think of Selma Rubin, who spent tireless hours putting this on the ballot. I mean, the 1970 County Board of Supervisors voted for these to be primitive campsites. This is not primitive camping. Those are my concerns. Those are the concerns I'm hearing from the community. And, I would appreciate to talk to anybody about these concerns, but basically we don't want this development there. It's not that we're not for business. It's just that we want to be, we want our coastline to remain the way that it is, and for folks to work with us in an even, it's just offensive that this has even come forth. Plus, we need to take a look at the lighting that's going to impact when we overlooked it. I remember the Mesa project, we overlooked that. The lighting is going to be the light pollution is going to be a huge impact. So I appreciate your time and thank you for listening to me today.
Thank you. This board has a very narrow purview. We don't look at zoning. We don't look at permitted uses. We don't look at any of those things. We evaluate the architectural look of projects that meet the requirements that the planners pass on to us. And we review the project as it's presented. We have been reviewing this project, as you well know, based on your comments. It has quite a significant history, and we have looked at many of the things that you spoke about. So I'd just like to know that, or I'd like you to know that we have listened to your comments today, and that thank you for being here. All right.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And we are streaming live on the internet, so folks that, and we put the link, yeah, we put the link also, so that folks can join and comment. Please refer to the letters that have been written to you by Chumash people last night, and take that into consideration. I appreciate your time. And developer, just take your project somewhere else. I mean, come on, this is not the right thing to do.
Ma'am, I just need to close my public comment, so thank you very much, and have a great day. Do we have anybody else?
That's all. No more public comment.
Okay, let's see. You just, okay. All right. You said you just uploaded something?
Yes, I uploaded into the public folder on Box, the letter that was sent. Can we put it up?
Yes, because I don't think
When did it come in?
Yesterday after 5 p.m. But it's a public comment letter, so that should be able to, we should
at least put it up.
Oh, sorry, 11.
Okay, well, we're not taking an action today, as I said, because you're here for final on consent and we're missing those 2 sheets of details. So we will see you hopefully for final consent, especially since you're gonna get you said you were gonna submit them today, so they'll just take this set and add to it. That would be perfect. All right, and we'll see you in January. Thank you. You can send the 2 workers in. Okay, so we have item number 6, 24 bar 33 AT&T at Foxen Canyon Tier 3A.
Last one at 2024.
1204. Shoot.
You're doing it. Well, we were sort of way back. We'll handle it.
Getting plans up.
Should I call them in sec?
Yeah, they're chit chatting about business. I have a burrito later.
Well,
not literally. When I walk across the street, I will.
Was that where you're going?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's why we.
Oh, yeah, it's the best. Thank you.
So we have someone here for this today online, because there's nobody here in the room.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Jerry Ambrose. I'm the applicant.
Okay,
Okay, right here.
just making sure I got my ducks in a row and all my people here. All right, so I'm gonna read the comments from last time, which were: provide an exhibit that shows the entire complex as a whole, including existing site development and equipment. Provide visual sims, including views from Foxen Canyon Road. Provide lighting specifications, fixture and lamp, and clarify the number of fixtures proposed. A timed switch light is preferable to a motion sensor light. Okey-dokey. You want to address those comments?
Yeah, all of those were addressed to staff. I guess if you scroll down on the plans to sheet A1.
Okay.
That's the entire property and
Right.
the features of the property.
Okay, so
Including added setbacks and everything else that staff and your board had asked us to do.
Right, and then the next page shows a close-up view.
The blow up, correct.
Right.
And then it gets bigger and bigger as you go page to page, more definition.
There we go, and that's our site. Okay.
That's our site, correct.
Okay, and your site are the ones within the big dash line, right?
Yeah, there are two, just from last time, there are two antenna area positions, the smaller boxes, and then the one on the north or the upper side of the sheet is where we're placing our
The
equipment
equipment.
cabinets. They're right next to T-Mobile and Verizon. They're all in a line there.
Right, so then the next sheet is the equipment enclosure.
Correct. That's a
And
wood
then-
fence enclosure. That hasn't changed.
Okay, and then the next one is the antenna. Those are the 2 antenna locations that are actually more distant apart, further apart than what's shown here, but this is just the 2 of them, right?
Yeah, it's just a blow up of the area, and each of those has the cattle fencing around them, like a T-Mobile and Verizon do as well.
How would you describe that fencing?
Excuse me,
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
is it just T-post and wire, or?
It's gosh, it's been so long since I've been there.
Actually, if we go to the next sheet, I think it's there.
Yeah, where the visual.
Yeah, it's as I recall, it was kind of like railroad ties, vertical railroad ties, spaced a few feet apart, and then there's wire connecting the railroad ties together.
T-post and wire, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, you can sort of see it there on the elevation.
okay. And then, photo sims.
And if you also the lighting is in the next couple of pages, there was the lighting details.
Yes, on the updated plans, if you.
You're correct.
Go.
There you go. There, you have to zoom in quite a bit, but that's the details of the lighting.
And these are going to be mounted.
They're on the top side of the equipment building. They're sort of right at the height of the fence.
Right, I see
Roughly 8 feet above, because they're down.
Looks like there's two of them. One on the north side or one on
Correct.
one side, and one on the other. Okay, so let's go back to the stems.
So the design itself did not change. We were just asked to add photo simulations from Fox and Canyon.
Okay, and
That's,
so.
we added three views from Fox and Canyon.
So, which part is your part of the sim? That'd be the tower there in between the two trees to the left of the flag?
It's honestly hard to tell. You have to toggle back and forth between the one above and below. It's.
Oh, I see.
Oh, do they look different?
It's very difficult to tell.
They look the same.
Oh, it's this one.
It's like there's some.
That's the first top photo is existing. This is
Correct.
existing. And then if you scroll down, keep going.
The bottom photo would be on each sheet would be
That
after.
was proposed, so you need to zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that's
zooming.
proposed. And then if you scroll all the way up, we're gonna see a very similar photo.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell, just because of the distance.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. Oh, the next one is, you can see. The second one you can definitely see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it, and then if you scroll up, you can see that it's not there. Okay, and then on the last one, yeah, you can see the extra panels on the left. Keep going. To the left of the oak. See those extra panels on the left? Okay, all right. That seems to satisfy all of our requested.
What is this here for?
There was an arborist report that we were asked to submit as well. I can't recall if that's from your board or from staff.
No, that would have been from the planner.
Okay.
I don't know, it's there here for conceptual review.
This is Chris. I just wanted to point out that there is a planner memo for this, and I think the planner had some comments that they're hoping that you could comment on about the oak trees. Great.
Because they had the.
The posts are actually 15 feet high.
So which tree?
There are two trees that are dead, or basically dead. And then the arborist recommended one of them to be removed, and the one to be removed is nowhere close to our project.
Yeah, it says 100 feet away. So, what, the planner is specifically requesting, can you go back to, this is the updated plan set?
Is there water up there?
Not irrigated water, no. It's just cattle grazing up there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And they're asking us to recommend if we want any more screening.
Yeah, I didn't see any trees that were introduced by T-Mobile or Verizon in the past.
Well, this is this project and that was that project. So we're looking at this one and the planner has specifically asked us to look at something. So let me do public comment real quick.
Sure.
And then I'll get to ours and I think we can.
If you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand. Not seeing a raised hand, no public comment.
Okay. All right, go.
I just want to comment, thank you for meeting all of our concerns. I just want to address the planner's comment. There is no water up there. Taking a water truck up there to actually maintain any new vegetation is not feasible in my mind, and I'm fine with the project as it stands.
Any other comments?
No comment.
No, I think you summed it up. So.
Yes.
Okay, this is here for conceptual, how would we like to see him come back?
Consent.
Preliminary and final, as
Yeah.
long as the planner is okay with it, preliminary and final on consent would be great. And actually, this package would be sufficient for our review at that time.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think you need any extra documentation, just resubmit all of this. And the photo sims and everything else, and we'll get you on your way, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Chris, you wanna do the minutes? You wanna review the minutes? She can share her screen with you, so.
Absolutely. Minutes are pretty straightforward today.
That's all
I know, it's like, what is this curl?
Going on with my hair?
Windswept.
I'm like, I forgot to put earrings.
Oh, I came Wednesday with one.
Always fun. Can you
Okay.
zoom in a little bit, Chris, so that we can,
Yes.
we got bad eyes.
Eyes, old eyes.
That's helpful.
Hold on, I'm gonna need to stop sharing for a second.
No worries.
Extract pen from mouth.
Oh, and they left their color board, so you're gonna have to take charge of that until next month. Okay, sorry.
Okay, let's try this again.
Well, this is LCAP.
LCAP.
Did
That
you
was kind of
need to
weird.
bring
It
it
just
back?
needs to be back
Project.
next week.
I'll just give
They
it
already
back to
started
Derek.
planting.
Are you
I drove
sure
by
you're
there.
okay with that?
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
is this better?
This is better.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's nice.
Hotchkiss, yep, we had no comment. So the final approval granted with this actually should go in the comment. The comment should be, not in the action, but, the comment was to, review, materials, specifications to match existing. Planner to review that. And that was, oh, I gave you the sheet number. Which sheet was that? Crap, I can't remember. I gave you the sheet number.
Okay.
That's why I said it was I was hoping you were gonna grab that.
I'm sure it's on the tape.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
vouch
we
for
can-
that. Just put sheet number and then. I'll look at it.
Materials and it's planner to review that. Planner to review
Right.
sheet.
They'll fill that in.
Planner to review sheet X.X. For, and then you can put in quotes to match existing residents notes. Unquote. Actually, and then they take out the rest of that, yeah. And then the final approval granted with the above requirement, condition, however you want to say it, because that's what we said.
Subject to above condition.
However you want to word it. All right, next. Preliminary and final, I don't think we had anything.
No.
Okay, scroll. Okay, it's a dark post for, I think it should say appreciate the importance of darker colored structures within view sheds.
Sure, that's fine.
That's a little more clear.
Okay.
Storage poles. Number 3, I actually start out with number 4 because it ties into the other comments. It sets the groundwork. I mean, you guys tell me if I'm wrong.
I put it as the first comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then, the site, the storage poles,
Storage pole prominence is from.
yeah, the storage pole prominence.
It's troubling.
Is troubling. It's skyline, as it indicates that a significant portion of the structure skylines.
Skyline.
Yes, and then I think you can take out stood out.
And I think we did say board advised applicant to meet with planner concerning skylining policy.
Yep, and that should be the next. It could end at skylines. And as a period. Board suggests.
Applicant meet with planner to review skylining policies.
Okay, and then, a building appears to be, you could say building appears perched at the top of the slope.
That was neat.
We just got that out.
Dang it.
And then you can get rid of, near the edge, and I think we can stay, recommends, sliding the house back and to the north. And then, how do you want to finish that, guys? Help me here.
What is the problem number 4 is the solution for?
There's the perching and
Okay,
the skylining.
so why don't we just tell them, reduce the perching and the skyline?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think we should
Okay, then
give
take
them
that out.
specific direction.
And then the building, of course, perched on the top of the
Well-
slope. Then, what do you want to say there?
Is that a good or bad thing?
It doesn't, the point was that it really didn't allow for any kind of backyard. It was just, the building ended at the top of a steep slope, so it was uncomfortable.
It is visually prominent and just, and current plan has minimal space to the northeast for
use, so.
Well, we didn't actually say that, so.
She said some,
Yeah, I did.
Denise said that.
Yeah, you're not, it's just not allowing for, and I didn't say it this way, but allowing for space in front of the pool and all of the,
That's what I was
so.
getting at. Alan,
It's
you
not really
said
taking
that the perching and the skylighting are problems, so why shouldn't we just say that? What would you suggest?
If, I don't, I'm always uncomfortable in giving them specific things that move
Yeah.
the house this way, move the
Me
house that
too.
way.
Got it.
I'd much rather tell them, we prefer not to see this and this, and let them come up with their own solutions.
How would you word that?
I would, just like I did, you know, we recommend not, building appears perched at the top of the slope. The problem that we're trying to say here is, we don't like it where it's perched, where it's located, right?
Right,
And
and I'm
it's
asking
skylight.
you, how do you?
Restudy site plan to, minimize visual prominence
Okay,
from Ballard Canyon Road.
okay, and then take out the rest.
Exactly.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for. Give me some
Good.
of the words.
That's what I was gonna say.
I like it.
Okay, and number 5 was Chris's comment, and that's fine. We can just, stay there. It's
It's a
kind of,
general thing that I want more space.
yeah.
Well, and then there was a comment about maintaining.
That was,
That was just a,
that was good though, that was
just a
I
management.
like, yeah, but we're smart, it's true.
Okay, but number 5, does that really have any effect on us? What do we care what they plant? Maybe they like the way it looks. I mean, this is what I don't understand. This is the whole, I mean.
I don't see it as any kind of requirement. I think just a comment. If you want to keep it in the minutes, you can. It's just
Sure,
like,
let's just-
you know, I
let's
think
see what
when
they do.
applicants
When they
come and
move
they
the
may
house
not
back, it solves the problem.
really understand what they're
Well,
getting
wait till they
into.
start
The people that
spraying
hired
the grapes.
Brett Jones don't know what they're getting into?
Spraying the
Yeah.
grapes.
As far as what grapes are really gonna be like.
Okay, so who wants to leave the comment in?
Me.
Anybody else?
It's not a requirement, it's just a comment, so. that's
No,
fine.
it's just a comment. It's just
Yeah.
like what you were saying about the management issues.
Yes.
So it doesn't really need to be in there. It's just kind of a heads up comment.
Then, if that, I'm okay with that, if we specify it as such. Now, right now, I would think, to me, based on what my short
It's
time on
saying
this
move the
group,
vineyard away from.
number 4 has much more weight than number 5.
Sure, okay. so
And I think
yeah,
we need
because
to
it
tell
solves
them
the
that.
problem. They move
Okay,
the
let's
house
take
back.
it out. Let's just. take
5
it
is out.
5 is out, solves the problem, but it was sort of like the management thing too.
Yeah.
Right,
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
so.
Return further conceptual. Yeah.
I live next to a vineyard.
All right.
trust me.
Now
I
cap.
think I'll have to
Yeah,
make a suggestion.
Return plans and details for final.
That's pretty much
Okay.
it, yeah.
Next. I think it's not existing screening is sufficient, it's that this site does not lend itself to the maintenance of additional planting.
Additional planting / screening is not feasible.
There you go.
It will die. We'll all be sad.
Perfect. All right,
Great.
is that it? Yep. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Restoration.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you, Chris.
Happy holidays.
Merry
Thank you.
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody gets everything that's coming to them.
Happy Hanukkah.
I'm taking this.